the biggest series of the season so far for the Phillies and for the Braves, to a 4-game series weekend against the Atlanta Braves at Citizens Bank Park. The heat is gone. It's about mid-80s, so weather conditions are great, and hopefully the atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park is even better. Tyler Mroz, Heat Ratio Sports Phillies pregame show, and I can't stress enough how big of a series this is for both teams. The Braves sit just 5 games behind the Phillies in the standings currently, and a 4-game series. After this series, hopefully this isn't the case, but the Atlanta Braves could be just 1 game out of first place. And this is the final time that the teams will meet. Charlie Morton, a former Philly, we'll get to more former Phillies in a little bit. He's 7-7 with a 4.24 ERA this season, going up against Christopher Sanchez. He is 9-9 with a 3.51 ERA. What's up, Adam? Yeah, I hope the Phillies can get the sweep. I mean, the Mets are 9 games behind the Phillies currently. So if you can somehow sweep the Braves and gain 4 games on them and also be 9 up on them, huge. That would just pretty much seal the deal for the Phillies getting the divisional title. So really, I can't stress enough how big this is for the Phillies. Not a good game yesterday. A 10-0 blowout. We were on the post-game show yesterday. We weren't even really talking about the game much because there was only updates about Taijuan Walker. And speaking of Taijuan Walker, we have some Taijuan Walker news. He's in the bullpen. He is done starting for the rest of the 2024 season. Rob Thompson announced. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Praise whoever, whatever religion, whatever you believe in. Just the right move for the Phillies. Taijuan Walker, a 6.50 ERA this season. The Phillies have lost 9 consecutive games that he started. Way overdue. Long overdue. But you know what they say? It's better late than never. And Tyler Phillips is going to most likely get the start on Tuesday in Toronto. Oh, yeah. Abby likes the Tyler Phillips move. The Phillies can't call up Colby Allard until September 10th. I'm not sure why. I guess it's something to do with his options, but Tyler Phillips will most likely be the starter on Tuesday and potentially for the rest of the season if he has a solid performance on Tuesday against the Blue Jays. And then other news, Michael Mercado really struggled. He was optioned. He has an 11.08 ERA. And Junior Marte, he's somehow back. I don't know. There's really nobody else in AAA they could have called up. Marte in 22 games, a 7.13 ERA. The last time we saw him on the major league level, gave up 7 runs to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I'm assuming that he is just a placeholder until the Phillies call up Tyler Phillips on Tuesday. I don't know. But Taijuan Walker, the long relief man out of the bullpen for the Phillies, Michael Mercado optioned, and Junior Marte somehow back up. Finally not starting, but give him the option to be in the rotation next year. Yeah, they said he's going to compete for a spot. I would assume that if he really struggles again, I guess he would be the 5th starter next year. And if he struggles, they have Andrew Painter waiting. Mick Abel also, if they want to get him up as well. And maybe they bring in a guy that they throw in the bullpen at first and then eventually move to a starter role if Taijuan Walker continues to struggle. So Taijuan Walker, again, in the bullpen, no longer a starter for the rest of the 2024 season. The lineups today, Phillies going with their righty lineup, I call it. It's all the regular guys, Brandon Marsh in center, Austin Hayes in left. No other debate of no platooning anywhere else, but Brandon Marsh batting 8th in center, and then Austin Hayes in left. For the Braves, Sean Murphy, who has been having a down season, is on the bench. Travis d'Arnaud, he's at the catcher position for the Braves tonight, and they're going up against 3 former Phillies. Charlie Morton, forget he had a short stint with the Phillies People were calling him the next Roy Halladay because they had a similar windup. Did struggle a lot with the Phillies, went on to win multiple World Series. So Charlie Morton has had a better career with other teams. Shout out, I guess she really likes Charlie Morton. They're also playing against, obviously, Whit Merrifield. He's batting leadoff, on fire for the Braves, had a 5-hit performance the other night in Minnesota. And Luke Williams, if you remember him, Captain America was his nickname. We have the real Captain America now, Trey Turner. Luke Williams, I was at a game where he hit a walk-off against the Braves, ironically enough. So pretty cool seeing him start and still playing with another team. Sad that it's the Braves because I really like him, but it is what it is. Got to root against him for this series. Keys to the game. How about you stop striking out? A brutal offensive performance yesterday. 12 strikeouts. Everybody in the starting lineup that started, I know you had the pinch hitters, but everybody that started struck out at least once. Kyle Schwarber struck out 3 times. Nick Castellanos struck out twice. They were no hit through 7 innings. Okay, excuse me. I'm letting Abby out because she just is so rude and keeps interrupting. Yeah, there you go, Abs. Sorry about that. I just don't want her to keep barking. It's a little rude of her. But yesterday, 12 strikeouts, and Charlie Morton is a guy that has been throwing a lot of strikeouts lately. 21 in his previous 3 games, and we'll get to a little bit more about the home runs. But Charlie Morton is a good strikeout guy, and the Phillies just need to get out of that mini slump they were in yesterday. Whit Merrifield is going to get enormous. I don't even think that is enough. It's going to be like when Ben Simmons came back. It's not going to be that bad. I know I'm not supposed to say his name on here, but Whit Merrifield is going to get insanely booed. He's going to get a crazy amount. It's going to be loud, especially he's leadoff, so everybody is going to be waiting for that. It's just Whit Merrifield is not going to get a good reception tonight from the Philly faithful. Next key, you need to avoid giving up the long ball. The Braves are a top 5 team hitting home runs, and they hit a good amount in that series against the Twins. They got the sweep in that series. 4 home runs, and in those 4 home runs, they got 8 RBIs. So just don't give up the home run. But you have to hit some home runs too, because Charlie Morton does not do well when he gives up multiple home runs. The Braves and him are 0-4 this season, all somewhat recently, all in the second half of the season. 0-4 when he gives up multiple homers a game. In the previous games where he hasn't, he's given up 2. I don't know what I wrote on my notes there. That really, really confused me. But when he gives up 2 home runs, or even more, he usually loses games. So Phillies need to hop on this. And they do have a good history against him. Kyle Schwarber, 286. Bryce Harper, 407. Alec Boehm, 464. JT Realmuto, 286. Only one that has a home run against him are Schwarber and Harper. But again, you need to hit the long ball. It's game 1 of a series. You want to set the tone. This is why I was happy that Taijuan Walker started in yesterday's game, because it's an afternoon game against the Astros. Rather have Christopher Sanchez going today. He struck out the Braves 8 times in his last start when he played them. So you need to, I always say it, strike early, strike often. We do need Sanchez to be the all-star pitcher that he is tonight. You see his ERA is a 3.51. That's still a good ERA. I would consider that to be good. Really, in this modern day, the elite pitchers are the only ones in the 2s, even the high 2s. You barely see it from consistent starters. But, yeah, man. Let's go. Speaking of, it was really hot yesterday, and something that's also been hot. The HRS Triple play of the day. So let's see what we have cooked for today. Let's see. Christopher Sanchez over 4.5 strikeouts at -165. Struck out 8 in his last appearance against the Braves, which is actually his last start. Alec Boehm, 2+ total bases at 100. He's batting over 400 in his career against Charlie Morton. I think he'll have a bounce back game. And then JT Realmuto over 1.5 HRR at minus 115. These are all on DraftKings. Like I mentioned, Sanchez, usually really good against the Braves. Boom, 2+ total bases, a bounce back game for him. And then Realmuto hitting decently well all off of Charlie Morton in his career. And he just had a weekend where he hit a career high in RBIs in the single game. So JT Realmuto, carry that momentum over, get some HR. All of these, they need to hit. They really need to hit. But as long as we hit one, it's good. We hit one yesterday, the Taiwan Walker under 2.5 strikeouts. Didn't get any, so smash that. Didn't get the other two, but still, you get one that is really good. You know what? You can use your code HEAT. You get 50% off at Win Daily. It's not going to last much longer, so you want to get that going right now. Also, the bonus, I skipped over that. Orlando Arcia is in town. And who's Orlando Arcia's rival? Well, in Orlando Arcia's mind, it's his rival, but in this guy's mind, he doesn't even really care. Bryce Harper to get a home run at plus 500. It's the Powder Blues. It's game one of the biggest game of the series. Not the biggest game of the season, but the biggest series of the season so far. And Bryce Harper is a guy that comes out to play. It makes too much sense. It has been a long time since we have seen a Harper home run. So I think plus 500, those are really good odds, especially when he's batting over 400 against Charlie Morton in his career. So I do like the Bryce Harper home run at plus 500. The home run bet's going with Turner. I could see that too. I definitely think someone at the top of that lineup is getting a home run. Let me see what the odds are for the other guys, because I was just like Harper all the way. I didn't even look at I was like, I don't care what the odds are. Bryce Harper, I think he's getting a home run. It's first home run. Here we go. Trey Turner is at plus 550, so not much higher. Casty 700. Schwarber 450. Bryson Stott plus 1200. Marsh too. Those are some pretty good ones. So yeah, Adam's going with Trey Turner. We're going with Bryce Harper at plus 500. So again, that's Christopher Sanchez over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 165. Alec Boehm to get 2+ total bases at plus 100. And then Jacob Tyler Realmuto over 1.5 HRR at minus 115. And then Bryce Harper to get a bomb at plus 500. Again, running out of time. Use your code HEAT. Get 50% off at Win Daily. Always do this. This is the first half is always Phillies talk, and the second half we kind of go into other stuff. So these are not just Philly moments of the day, keeping track of the rivals. We usually did Braves and Mets, and then the Mets kind of fell off, and now we track the Dodgers, but we're playing the Braves, so we know how they're doing. So throwing the Brewers there. Dodgers won last night 6-4 against the Orioles, so they gain another game on the Phillies. The Brewers were beating the Giants 6-0 when I made this. I'm sure they held on to it, unless you're the Pittsburgh Pirates and you blow a huge lead when Paul Skeens is pitching. Yeah, Brewers won 6-0 over the Giants, and the Giants just placed a couple of their guys on waivers. Tyler Rogers, who could be a solid replacement for Jose Alvarado, but the Phillies would have to pay his contract. So I don't know if that's something that they want to do. And then the Angels calling up left-handed pitcher Sam Aldeguerri. He was involved in the Carlos Estevez trade, so former Philly, the first Italian-born player in MLB history to start. He's going to be starting tomorrow for the Angels. Kind of struggled for them when he got traded in the minor league system, at least. Was doing tremendous for the Phillies, and then they took advantage of that, capitalized on his value, had a 3.57 ERA with the Jersey Shore team, and then got traded to the Angels for their minor league affiliate, their AA team. He had a 5.19 ERA, so not the greatest transition. But I mean, we've seen it before. Mickey Moniak was okay with the Angels when the Phillies traded him there. And who else? Logan O'Hoppe. He's one of the best hitting catchers in the league right now. So we'll see if the Angels can take another Phillies prospect and turn him into gold. Watch Stott hit one. Plus 1,200. Like, feel like those are the ones where you're like too tempted. You're like, it's too good to be true. Like if you put like a little bit on it, it's not a big loss. But if you hit it, that's really good. So a low risk, high reward at plus 1,200 for both Bryson Stott and Brandon Marsh. What's happening with the St. Louis Cardinals? They're having an attendance fiasco. If you didn't know, Cardinals fans love to say how they always show up no matter what. Well, their tickets are going for $0 on SeatGeek right now. I'm curious as to what tickets are for their game tonight. I kind of want to check this out. I did look the other day, and there were tickets as low as $1, $0. Let's see. At Cardinals, they're on a road trip. So the Mariners, who are in not really in playoff contention, but $11. And then 7, 12, 6, 6, 7, 12. So if you are a St. Louis Cardinals fan, you can catch a game for really cheap. And they also made a move today. They waived outfielder Tommy Pham. He was a trade deadline acquisition. They are currently in third place in the NL Central, 500 record right now. They are 10.5 back from first place and only 6.5 back from the last wild card position. So Cardinals are in shambles right now, not just with the team, but with their attendance as well. It is worse than the Oakland State. I don't think anything's worse than that. I disagree. Tropicana Field, I have been there a couple of times. That is the worst ballpark I've been to. I've only been to 5 or 6. The Tropicana Field is just horrendous. The stadium itself, Busch Stadium, looks like a really beautiful stadium, at least a decent one, at least in the upper echelon, upper half of the MLB stadiums. But I don't. Tampa's probably above Oakland, but not above anybody else. Oakland just neglects that stadium. Was the Raiders field too, and they moved to Las Vegas. A's are moving to Sacramento next season. So the Oakland Coliseum, man, it used to be really cool because the Raiders would play there too, but now it's just a baseball field and a football stadium. So not really good, and it's old. The city doesn't put any money into it. The owners not spending any money on either the team or the stadium. So I don't think Busch Stadium's that bad. I'm sure there's plenty of other stadiums. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll look up the worst stadiums. In my opinion, I've only been to Philly, both New York's, Baltimore, and Tampa. By far, Tampa's the worst. I feel like stadiums I've been to are all really good stadiums. I really like Citi Field. Camden Yards is beautiful. Yankee Stadium I was too young to remember, but I still went there. Citizens Bank is a top tier stadium. I was going to Pittsburgh earlier this year, but not happen. So let's see what the stadiums, ranking MLB stadiums. I'm going to click it. USA Today, or let's do Bleacher Report because they're sports. They ranked all 30 MLB stadiums before this season. 30 was Oakland. 29 was Tropicana Field. Let's see where Busch Stadium is. Chase Field at 28, really. They don't really have that many people. Lone Depot, I'm surprised that's not lower, even though it's the fourth. Nationals Park is low too. Guaranteed Rate, which is the White Sox, they don't have many people that come out to their games either. So I'm kind of shocked that that's higher than it is. Busch Stadium is not in the bottom 10, so that's good news for them. Minute Maid at 20. I'm surprised that's not higher because that looks like a really cool park. Target Field. I've heard a lot of people recently say how good Target Field is. I might try to go out there next year because that's always been I'm trying to go to all 30 stadiums at some point, but now it's kind of hard with Oakland. I guess I'll just wait. Angel Stadium at 16. I have not heard that many good things about that, except that it's right near Disneyland and the fountain in center field, but I'm surprised. So looking like Busch Stadium might be top 10. Progressive Field at 12. Wow. Busch Stadium, 11. Cardinals have been there since 2006. So according to Bleacher Report, Cardinals have the 11th best stadium, but they just have nobody going to these games. Got David checking in. Speaking of the White Sox, I'm watching from. Well, hey, there you go. You White Sox fan? That would be unfortunate if you were. The White Sox, historically bad team, probably the worst team in maybe baseball history right now. Where are the Phillies? Let me see. They're in the top 10. Coors is 10. Coors is one I really want to go to. I know a buddy of mine, shout out Connor. He's from Colorado, so I really want to go there. Citi Field 9. Citizens Bank at 8. I don't know how. I got to see what else is higher than that. Petco Park. Okay, yeah, I've heard that stadium's really beautiful. It does look really cool. Camden Yards at 6. I'm surprised that's not, because obviously you're going to have Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, and then they're going to put Yankee Stadium up there, even though I don't think that's that. If it wasn't in New York, if that was the Guardian Stadium, it would not be that high. It's the Yankees. They're going to give them number 1 on everything. But it's going to be Wrigley at 5. Wow. I'm surprised they didn't put that higher. PNC Park at 4. How is that not the best? That's got the best view. Fenway at 3. Oh, dear Lord. They better not put Yankee Stadium at 1. Number 2, Dodger Stadium. Yeah, how was Yankee Stadium? Wait, Oracle Park. Did that completely miss Yankee Stadium? I'm glad that Oracle and Fenway got up there. Did I completely miss Yankee Stadium? Where are they at? Not even in the top 10. Are they even in the top 15? Number 14. Wow. Surprised that they put that low for Bleacher Report, because they usually favor the bigger markets. But Oracle Park, yeah, I would love to get there in PNC Park. Obviously, Fenway and Wrigley, because they are the historical team. Chicago is beautiful right now. Always wanted to go out there. Maybe I'll go on a little Phillies road trip at some point. I have student loans to pay, though, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. I agree. Camden Yards is beautiful. Wish they had a little bit, like, for kids, like a little play area. That's why the Phillies is so good. New York has that, too. They have the little wiffle ball field. So stadiums need to, because most of the time it's kids, because that's where you get most of the crowds. But obviously you got stuff for the adults. But Camden Yards, awesome. Awesome park. Arguably my favorite. I think it might be in terms of views, because I know seeing the Philly skyline's cool. Citi Field, it's just huge. That stadium is big. You go to the Citizens Bank Park. It feels like a baseball stadium. You go in a Citi Field, it feels huge. Like, it feels like you're an ant. Because I went down by the third base. I mean, we were sitting all the way at the top, but we came down for the third baseline for pregame, and it was massive. So, yeah, Camden Yards is goated. I really love Camden Yards. Getting back into this, NCAA football week 1 begins tonight. I know UCF opens up against New Hampshire. They're playing at Mortgage Field. Went to a couple UCF games last year. They killed TCU in the home opener, and then I went to the game. Who they play? West Virginia. They lost pretty bad, but Shaq was there because he was DJing the homecoming for UCF that year, which was pretty crazy to see. I was like, oh, there's Shaq. That's pretty awesome. I did the fast pitch at Citizens Bank, came in a whopping 47 miles an hour. I haven't done that in a little bit. I am going to the game on Sunday night. I'll try and get a pregame in before I go. If there's a post game, I don't know if there will be, since I'll be there. It'll be later, not right after the game as it usually is. But I definitely got to try that out. So I might do an early pregame show just so I can go. I tried getting in the wiffle ball field, but they don't let people over the age of 14. Me and my friend Jake were in line, and Jake's got a couple tattoos. And the guy was like, you can't be, you're under 14. He's like, I am 14. And the guy's like, no, you're not. Get out of here. So very strict on the wiffle ball field. There is a video out there somewhere when I was old enough or young enough. Jeez, that's crazy. I'm getting old. At the Phillies wiffle ball field, and there was like 8 pitches in a row where I was just fouling off. And they're like, all right, last one. Get this kid out of here. And I hit it legitimately. I hit it out of the stadium. I hit it into the parking lot, which I'll try and get that video on here for the post game. But I promise I'm not making it up. Eagles, Falcons. What is it with the Eagles and playing Kirk Cousins on primetime? Was it 3 seasons in a row? Because they're playing the Falcons for their home opener. If the home opener isn't next week, because a whole lot of controversy with the Brazil. How would you? I'm going to go on a little rant here. How do you think it's smart to send the 2 teams with green as their primary color to Brazil when you're telling them, the players, Oh yeah, don't wear green because of allegedly stuff with gangs, and you might get jumped. Then why send the two teams whose main colors are green? That's so stupid. And now you have these forest fires that are coming in, and I believe it was the prime minister of Brazil or one of their leaders there declaring a war against the fires because the fires have been really bad, a rise in pneumonia, and oh man, like just is the game going to get moved to Philly? Like I feel like they would have to make a call on that soon. And AJ Brown just came out today. They were telling him the do's and don'ts of what to do in Brazil. He's like, yeah, you can't walk with your phone out in public. Like, you can't even do that. They're not even in Rio de Janeiro. They're in like I don't know. They're in like another part of Brazil. So I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know if the game is even going to be in Brazil. So Adam might be there for the second game of at Lincoln Financial Field. Can't wait to see Murray State Missouri game. Missouri all the way. I'm not a huge college football guy, but I want to get into it more. I'm trying to get into it as much as I can. Oklahoma over Temple. That's an upset for the Sooner. Oh, no, that's not an upset for Oklahoma. It's in Oklahoma. Last time I checked, the spread was like Oklahoma minus 40. Or no, I think it was like 60. It was something ridiculous. Let's see what it is. Oklahoma and Temple play in Oklahoma tomorrow. Oklahoma minus 42. So, Temple, man. Matt Rule, PJ Walker days, far behind them. Don't even have that many good games on their season. They play Florida Atlantic. If that was in Florida Atlantic, I would consider going. Miss when they would play UCF because I like both teams because I've had my brothers went to Temple, my uncle went to Temple, and then my cousins all went to UCF. So I loved when they played because I'm like, I'm happy either way. But obviously UCF no longer in the American Conference. It was at 2 primetime games against Kirk Cousins when he played for the Vikings. Wow. You pick good games to go to. They won both games last year. It was kind of a close game, and the Eagles went away with it. And then 2022, the Jalen Hurts breakout game, that's when people were like, okay, he's legit. Because you saw the Detroit game, people were like, okay, he looks good, but can he continue doing this at a high level? And he balled out on Monday Night Football, got the rub from Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, had that play where he had the rushing touchdown, reached out with guys on him. So Dallas Goedert, shout out to him on that play, blocking Harrison Smith, one of the better safeties in the league. So hopefully Hurts or someone else can have that career-making moment. Georgia over Clemson. Yeah, Florida Man Sports, a.k.a. Jacob Hopkins, fellow graduate of the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, big Georgia guy. So he projected them to go undefeated and be number 1. So, yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing more college football on this page pretty soon. I know this is not just Philly moments, but we got to talk about this. James Bradberry, who, if you watched the live stream me and Tony did a couple days ago, we were talking about who was going to make the roster for the Eagles. And I said I was very surprised if James Bradberry was going to make this roster, and he did. But he's going on the injured reserve. He's out 6 to 8 weeks with a leg injury. Eagles just claimed a defensive lineman from the Raiders, their 3rd-round pick last year, but allegedly had attitude issues, thought he was deserved more since he was a 3rd-round pick. Alabama guy, so the Eagles get another Alabama D tackle. James Bradberry out 6 to 8 weeks. They said a month and a half to 2 months is usually the recovery time for an injury like this. Then more NFL news. Taylor Heineke traded from, I believe, the Falcons to the Chargers for like a 6th-round pick. And then the Browns released former Pro Bowl quarterback, which is crazy, Tyler Huntley. Honestly, I would prefer both of these guys in a heartbeat over Kenny Pickett. Debatable about Tanner McKee. Really love Tyler Huntley. Browns just have a loaded quarterback room. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's the starter. Jameis Winston is the backup. Or I think he's actually might be the 3rd string now. They gave him about $8 million, and he is likely going to be the 3rd string. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I was hoping the Eagles would snag him in the draft last year. But he went to Cleveland, played for them a little bit before Joe Flacco came in. So, Tyler Huntley, a free agent, or is he going to end up Taylor Heineke, former Commander, had that really good playoff game against Tom Brady and the Bucs. He is now Justin Herbert's backup quarterback. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it. Postgame, it's live. As always, 5 to 10 minutes after the final out. As always, it could be 5 if it's a blowout. Hopefully it is in the Phillies' favor. It could be 10, depending on how close of a game it is. So, as always, I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. Tony sitting in the dentist office. Man, grind doesn't stop at the dentist. I got mine a couple weeks. What's today? 29th. So I got mine in like 2.5 weeks. So not too far apart. David, Clemson Tigers do have to replace Xavier Thomas, Tyler Davis, and Ruccaroro, but have plenty of young players poised to do so in tomorrow's game. I can't speak on much of these. I only know Ruccaroro off the top of my head because I play a lot of Madden, and he was a guy I usually drafted in the 3rd, 4th round. But Clemson won a couple national titles with Dabo Swinney. Obviously, they had Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson, both now starting quarterbacks for playoff contending teams. But as always, post-game, 5 to 10 minutes after the final out. Appreciate everyone tuning in. So I will see you all after the game. Let's go Phillies. Hopefully, as always, we can talk about a Phillies win. Hopefully, I can see you there. Hopefully, we can talk about Phillies win. So stay safe, everyone. And as always, stay fresh, my friends.